platform using the hand-raising function, and the other being to deposit your questions into the Parliamentary Communications WhatsApp group. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting briefing has been called by the presiding officers of Parliament to communicate the details and preparations regarding the hosting of the 2021 State of the Nation address to be addressed by the President of the Republic. Indeed, the presiding officers will lead this engagement, and they are on the platform connecting from various locations. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Mayor Thandimudise, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ntate Amos Masondo, and the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mayor Sylvia Lucas. Also present on the platform is the House Chairperson of Committees and Oversight, Ntate Cedric Froelich. The Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Ntate Lechesa Zenodu, could not join us as he has been assigned to conduct the swearing-in of new members of the National Assembly, which is currently taking place. Also joining the presiding officers are the senior officials of Parliament, led by the Acting Secretary to Parliament, Mayor Baby Penelope Jawa, the Secretary to the National Assembly, Mr. Masibule Lekaso, and also the Secretary to the National Council of Provinces, Advocate Mudibedi Pindela. They may be called upon as and when required during this engagement with you to respond to some of the issues, and I'm going to ask them to keep their cameras switched on. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been requested by the presiding officers to present this statement on their behalf. Once again, the presiding officers appreciate your presence in this briefing, which is the very first interaction for this year, and they accordingly wish you a very successful and fruitful year ahead. As we are all aware, the country is seeing a surge in COVID-19 infections, and subsequently we have moved to the adjusted level 3 lockdown regulations. The cumulative number of COVID-19 cases identified in South Africa is over 1,400,000, with recorded death at plus 41,000. Cape Town, the seat of Parliament, has been cited amongst the country's COVID-19 hotspots. South Africa is in a second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, which is spreading faster and causing more death than before. Parliament as well has not been spared from the virus, with over 56 recorded infections among staff members. We are, however, greatly encouraged by the recovery rate of both members of Parliament and staff. Sadly, we have lost 12 members of Parliament and 5 officials since the outbreak of the virus. We once again extend our heartfelt condolences to the families and those of thousands that have passed on since the outbreak of the pandemic. The presiding officers also pay homage to all health and essential services workers who have been on the front line on a daily basis, putting their lives at risk by taking action and tackling the pandemic head on. We continue to urge South Africans to adhere to all safety protocols to help reduce the spread of the virus. Parliament continues to exercise vigilance in conducting oversight of the executive as they implement their plans to reduce the rate of the infections. The National Legislature will heed President Cyril Ramaphosa's call in his address to the nation on the 11th of January 2021, where he emphasized the caution should be taken as the new coronavirus variant is infecting people at a rapid rate. Hence, the presiding officers have called this media briefing to bring you and the nation up to speed regarding the state of readiness and preparedness to host one of the most important events in our annual calendar, the state of readiness, one of the most important events in our annual calendar, the State of the Nation address. The presiding officers of Parliament have received a correspondence from the President of the Republic requesting a joint sitting, and upon consultations, agreed to schedule the address on Thursday, February 11 at 17 hours, rather 19 hours, which is 8 o'clock. The State of the Nation address is called by the President in terms of Section 45 of the Constitution. It is a joint sitting of the two houses of Parliament, and one of the rare occasions that bring together the three arms of the state under one roof. Sona provides the president with an opportunity to speak to the nation on the general state of South Africa, to reflect on a wide range of political, economic, and social matters within the domestic and global context, to account to the nation on the work of government and set out government's program of action for the coming year. Traditionally, the president makes key government announcements during this important joint sitting of Parliament. Since last year, Parliament has been preparing for State of the Nation address by engaging various stakeholders. Sona, in its nature, is a ceremonial joint sitting of the two houses of Parliament, called specifically for only one item on the agenda, which is the State of the Nation address. The sitting is presided over by both the National Assembly Speaker and the National Council of Provinces Chairperson under the applicable joint rules of Parliament. In strict adherence to the national state of disaster regulations, this year's State of the Nation address will take the form of a hybrid joint sitting with at least no more than 50 members of Parliament, representatives from the judiciary and the executive in the physical chamber, and the rest of the category connecting virtually. Other categories that will virtually form part of this important event include premiers, speakers, and other special delegates representing provinces in the National Council of Provinces, eminent persons, diplomatic corps, distinguished guests, and members of the public. Due to the limited number of persons permitted within the precincts of Parliament and Parliament's sensitivity to the prevailing conditions, various ceremonial aspects that usually characterize the State of the Nation address have been suspended. In this regard, there will be no red carpet and procession of the three arms of the state, physical participation of junior and civil guards of honor, eminent persons in Bongi, military parade that leads the president's procession onto the saluting days on the steps of the National Assembly, the guard of honor by the National Ceremonial Guard, and the 21-gun salute. Where possible and appropriate, some of these traditional features shall take place virtually in keeping with the significance and character of the address. President Cyril Ramaphosa will physically deliver the State of the Nation address from the National Assembly chamber at 19 hours. After the delivery of the State of the Nation address by the President, the two houses will again convene jointly on a hybrid platform to debate the address of the President over 2 days, which is the 16th to the 17th of February. The President will reply to the debate by members of Parliament on the 18th of February. In terms of the applicable rules, the joint sitting will be conducted in line with the rules applicable to virtual or hybrid sittings. Joint Rule 2 of the Joint Rules of Parliament provides that the Speaker and the Chairperson of the Council, acting jointly, may give a ruling or make a rule in respect of any matter for which the joint rules do not provide, having due regard to the procedures, precedents, practices, and conventions developed by joint sittings of both houses, and on the basis of the constitutional values and principles underpinning an open, accountable, and democratic society. A rule framed by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Chairperson of the NCOP acting jointly remains in force until a meeting of the Joint Rules Committee has decided on it. The Joint Rules of Parliament remain in operation and are supplemented by this rule in order to provide for virtual or hybrid joint sittings and joint committee meetings. With regard to the 2021 Sona theme, the theme for Sona retains that of the 6th Parliament, which is following up on our commitment, making your future work better. The theme underscores the character of a people-centered parliament, which must deepen democracy, improve the quality of life of all South Africans, strengthen transparency, accountability, and responsiveness to the needs of the people. Regarding the budget for this State of the Nation address, Due to the hybrid nature of this year's State of the Nation address, the event will cost the most minimum of the budget envisaged, which is 2,200,000 rands. The significant savings expected will be redirected to modernizing technological capabilities of Parliament to enhance its constitutional functions of public participation, oversight, and lawmaking. Due to the socio-economic hardships facing South Africans, Parliament had over the years scaled down on Sona and drastically cut its budget. In conclusion, all the joint sittings on the President's State of the Nation address, parliamentary debate on Sona, and the President's reply to the debate will be broadcast live, both on radio and television, as well as streamed live on the social media platforms, parliamentary television, as well as the YouTube channel of Parliament. South Africans are urged to form part of these important events and participate through a wide range of public platforms. This is the end of the statement of the presiding officers regarding Parliament state of readiness regarding the State of the Nation address. Without any waste of time, I'm going to request that we do as we have indicated in the beginning, that members of the media who wish to ask questions, they can use the hand raising function on this platform, or they can deposit their questions on the parliamentary communication WhatsApp group, which I will also be checking. So I don't yet see any hand raised. Or perhaps before I go even to the media for questions, can I check with the presiding officers if there's any additions, any remarks that they wish to make? Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, colleagues from the media? Let me also check on the WhatsApp group. The statement, colleagues, can we please immediately deposit it into the WhatsApp group so that colleagues can be from the media can be able to have that content themselves, to go through the content themselves. We've got a question from Atim Tongana from Newsroom Africa. She is asking, can we get more clarity on the number of people, delegates that will be allowed inside the National Assembly and who exactly they are? That is the first question. I still don't see any hands being raised on this platform. Are we able to deal with the first question from as we wait for others?
No, thank you very much, facilitator. In answering this question, we just need to emphasize that the various political parties and the various whips will be able to, in the coming few days, to definitely indicate the names of people who will be coming from political parties who will be at the chamber. For now, we know that the president will be there, the presiding officers will be there, but the specific details about individual members of political parties would be clarified in the near future.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. There is another question from the WhatsApp group from Jan Gerber from News 24. And it says, it has become a tradition for the EFF to disrupt Sona. Are the presiding officers satisfied that the virtual platform and the rules for hybrid sittings will be able to deal with this?
May I take the question?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
I'm not sure whether we want to say it is traditional for Parliament to be disrupted. But yes, the joint rules for the sittings are adequate. You will also remember that we have had many hybrid and virtual meetings of both houses. And in fact, 2 sittings which were joint. And the rules have been applied equally, applied without fear or favor. And that is what we intend to do. We think our rules are adequate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The next question is from Marianne Merton from the Daily Maverick. And the question says, could we please have a comment remark from the presiding officers? Was this a difficult decision to make? I guess this decision relates to the format of the State of the Nation address this year.
Maybe we should respond by just indicating that given the context of COVID-19 pandemic and the fact that this has had a devastating effect on our society, economically, socially, and otherwise. It wasn't easy to arrive at a decision, but having considered the issues, we settled for the option of a hybrid sitting. All of us, I'm sure, miss normal circumstances, that is pre-COVID-19 situation, where we'll meet with very little challenges. But given the context of COVID-19, and given the fact that also the disaster management declaration require us to observe certain basics, including the question of numbers. One can say that it was not an easy decision to arrive at, but nonetheless, we had to make a determination, and that determination is that things should be done as outlined.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Is there any other remark from the presiding officers?
No, okay. Not at all. Just to add that we are part of the general society. Our people are going through these challenges of COVID-19. We cannot be, insulated from what they are going through. Even though we have enough space within the National Assembly chamber to have more than 100 people, we keep to the confinements of the regulations of COVID. And that is why we are saying all together, the people, whether they are members or the judiciary or the presidency, we will be people under 50 in that chamber, because we cannot have rules that affect society and that do not affect ourselves. So it is us being part of our societies, us being sensitive to what everybody else in South Africa is going through, but also seeing the need not to forgo Sona, because it is important to mark the beginning of each financial year, to outline what the head of state has in mind as the executive for the country. It is the only time when you bring all three arms of state together. It is the only time when you bring all three spheres of government together. And therefore, it was important for us not to forgo it, but to do it in a very sensitive manner too.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, Honorable Chair. There are two questions that are almost similar and relates to the presence of the media in the precincts and in the chamber. The first one, it says, will any media be allowed into the chamber for the speech of or the precinct? And then that question comes from Paul Vicchiato, who is also the, if I can disclose, the Secretary General of the Parliamentary Press Gallery Association. So I think he is asking, representing the constituency there. And there's another one from Tabo Moputing. He's asking, will broadcasters be allowed to be in Parliament in order to get a clean feed and not rely on virtual links? Those are the two questions. And I guess, not to preempt what the presiding officers are going to say in response to this, but to indicate that there's going to be, following the decision for this form of the State of the Nation address this year, there's going to be engagement with the media organizations such as SANEF and the Parliamentary Gallery Association to ensure that we arrive at a reasonable approach with regard to what number of members of the media can be allowed, because there has to be a limited number of journalists who are both in the precinct and also in the chamber, consistent with the protocols of social distancing. Do presiding officers want to remark about this?
No, I was going to answer in the same way and to say that we will not compromise, ladies and gentlemen of the media. You will be screened if we arrive at a decision that some members, a small number of media, will be allowed within the precinct or even within the chamber. The same rigorous process of screening members will be applied to you. But we will then finalize this. I'm hoping that, Moloto, we will have the last briefing of the media just before Sona, as usual, where we will clarify those things that we are still talking about and still threshing out.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Indeed, we are going to have the final one as per the tradition on the eve of or a few days before the State of the Nation address, just to give a final update on the details of the state of readiness and preparedness. Other presiding officers wanting to input on this, to give remarks on this? Thank you very much. I'm just looking at other questions. There is a question from on the chat, from Lindsay Dentlinger. She says, just in terms of the budget, while 2 million is earmarked for such an event, what is the maximum you intend to spend on such a scaled down event?
That's the budget that has been identified.
I see you are, okay.
That's the budget that has been identified for the event. But of course, we're putting a lot of emphasis on saving as much as possible, so that the funds saved could be utilized for other important activities. and requirements.
Through Chairperson, we don't want to spend 2 million. We don't want to spend a cent of that money at all because we've got other needs. But we are saying that this was the money that was budgeted for. We think that what will be, but Mechawa might be able to explain this better. We think that the most that we will expend on would be the amount of money which the webinar will cost us. Because we're not going to be saving anything other than the usual water in the chamber, and that's it. Mechawa, are we having you wrong?
Thank you so much, Speaker. I think you have expressed exactly the correct thing. We won't spend anything close to 1 million, nothing else. And I think in the statement of the presiding officers, it has been indicated that what we need to invest on, which we've started investing on, is modernization of Parliament, in the fact that we are really needing to boost our ICTs, to boost our connectivity, and the presiding officers have said exactly that. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And also, Lindsay wants to know that in terms of the arrangements, will the president deliver the reply to the debate in the chamber a week later?
Tatemoloto, we don't know that for sure, but we do know that the debate will be of the two houses, will be on a hybrid system. We will then have to come back to you on that one. But even when we come back to you, we'll come back to you very close to the date of the response of the president on that one.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. There was a question, but I think it is responded. Apua de Klerk wanted to know or to have a breakdown of the 2.2 million budget that will be used for the State of the Nation address, and I think that has been responded to by the presiding officers as well as the acting secretary, unless they want to add more. But I believe that it was responded to sufficiently. Okay, thank you very much. From both the WhatsApp group as well as the chat, I don't see any further questions, but if I'm missing any questions, the colleagues can assist me. Yeah, I think we have dealt, presiding officers, we have dealt with all the questions. I was just checking to confirm that all the questions have been dealt with from both the chat group as well as the WhatsApp group. So unless there's any parting shot from the presiding officers, I'm going, oh, I see one more message just when I was about to close from the chat. I don't know if, let me just confirm so that I'm fair to everybody. No, I think we've dealt with all the questions. So I'm going to really thank the members of the media and will apologize again for the change in the time of hosting this media briefing, and also to thank the presiding officers, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the Deputy Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. I see the Deputy Speaker seems to be connected, and also thank him as well as the House Chairperson for Oversight and Committees, And thanks as well to the senior officials of Parliament led by Namjawa, who were present in this media briefing. And thanks to all the colleagues. And thank you very much. So the media briefing is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please stay safe.
Thank you very much, ma'am.